What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Tribune Show. After a long break, took a whole week off of this show, so give it a little bit of fresh air, some breathing room, and let some of the tremendous tragic news in the community kind of die down just a bit. We're not going to talk about that too much because obviously it's not what anybody would like to dwell on. So we will move forward ahead with full vigor. I do appreciate everybody tuning in instead of tuning out. Always better to have you here with me at the start of a week, right? I know I do this show at night, but hey, we have a great lineup, with the Mellow Dome Morning Light. If you aren't uh, familiar with that content, definitely go check it out. Just some things that are bringing some positive mindsets to the community, along with the FMX radio that they have going on. It's really a great time. So let's go ahead and take just a moment to do, as usual, our shout outs, and we'll go ahead and dive right on in. First up on YouTube, of course, should give you guys just a minute to pile on in. Jeremy Bird, Flat Gang, absolutely geocentric truth. What is good? Dr. Bass Ackwards, always a warm welcome for you, my friend. And Mad Mac, no, you are the man. We probably go back and forth all day. Sick. All right, and then everybody watching on Rockfin, I can't really see who you are because you haven't chatted just yet, but I know those will come pouring in. We do appreciate you tuning in with us. It has been an exciting weekend. Had a lot to do. One of the things that I had to do over the weekend was actually respond to this Glober, which is, I know some people are like, why are you wasting time with the Globers? And the thing is that I'm a man of my word. And if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So if I'm asked to look into something specific, I'm absolutely going to do that. And I, will go ahead and go through my review and why I'm saying what I'm saying here with regards to that. Brianna Lynn shuffling in. Welcome to the show. Awesome stuff. So I'm not really, well, it's just his name. So I don't think it's going to show his email. Perfect. I just want to go through just this little conversation that I had with Mr. Miner. He's the person who's been in the chat, always talking about how his dad did the circumpolar flight, whatever the heck it's called. They flew over the North Pole, and yeah, wanted me to respond to that on because he believes that all this proves the ball. But we'll go through the conversation here in just a moment. Today's show, all about communication. Right, it's very, very important. Right, probably one of the most important but underrated things is the ability to communicate, and it's actually very faceted, multifaceted. I'm not simply talking about your ability to speak and effectively convey a point, but more more specifically, I'm talking about, well, not specifically, right? Because it is more broad than that. Misspoke. But I'm talking more about interconnectionness, your ability to communicate not just with others, but with yourself, which often, or which does lead to emotional intelligence and awareness. Awareness, of course, being a form of communication between you and the universe, or whatever you'd like to call it. So, very profound topic, very simple to say, but it covers a lot of bases. And I feel like communicating is one of the things that in this community there's always something that we can be doing better. I feel like this is one thing that we could definitely be doing a little bit better, myself included. A lot of what I say is a projection when it comes to things that should be done, just to be fair. But I do think that being an effective communicator is something that is definitely overlooked. So why do we mess with the Globers? Well, that's where all of us started off at, right? So if you never interacted with someone like me, someone like Jaron, someone like Witsit, someone like Dave, then you don't come into contact with this information, with good information, and you end up, a lot of times, actually even worse case scenario, you end up getting bombarded with bad propaganda points, breadcrumbs, things that aren't really necessary proofs of anything, and we'll go ahead and get into that without further ado. So let's go ahead and pull this up. Actually, I do want to adjust it just a tad. Perfect. Okay. So I had this conversation yesterday, I believe. Man, a lot has happened. It's hard to keep up with it all. But essentially, I was asking for a I put the shin in communication. Good stuff, man. That's a great comment. All right. So let's go ahead and go through this. I got it pulled up here now. This is my email inbox. So there's a link that I got sent from Mitch Miner, and he was, the one who's claiming his dad was doing the circumnavigation. So he sends me this link, and I'm not going to click it right now because this way that I do this, just the browser sourcing is kind of wonky. I don't know how to go back yet. So if I click in this, then it's going to take me out. Pretty funny, right? But anyway, so what we have here is, you see, he sends me this link as requested. Good on him. It's history.usgmil browse by topic aviation significant dates. So already I'm getting a red flag. I'm like, okay, we'll go ahead and give it a shot. We click on it, and I'll probably show you guys here in just a minute, but it's just a bunch of, very quick summary, like 2-sentence, 3-sentence summary of things that the National Coast Guard did, like significant dates, as the link suggests. And significant dates, I should say, not just the Coast Guard, but significant dates of aviation. Sorry. In any case, I had to scroll through it, and I did eventually find it. But obviously, when I'm looking for a link, I'm looking for something with a little bit more substance than just a couple sentences. Something I can actually look into to see exactly what his point is, how this proves the shape of the Earth. So let me go. It says right here, link you sent isn't a detailed link. It's an observation. Is it observation or data? Or sorry, the link you sent isn't a detailed link of the observation or data. And he replies, it's an article in the newspaper that states the fact that my dad made the flight, and you said it was impossible to make the flight. The article proves otherwise. I will point out, very emotional response with the exclamation marks. I don't know if I would have been so heavy on those. But in any case, I know people get really emotional over this stuff, and that's okay. I know if, I felt one of my family members had did something significant that people were discounting, I would definitely, feel a little offended, and maybe want to try to convince them otherwise. So here we are, and we'll address the claim of I'm saying that's impossible. And again, this is a North Pole flight that they're talking about, and they cross all the meridian lines, all the longitude lines, which they will beg the question and say that those are only possible on a spinning space ball. So, I don't believe I ever have claimed that going over the North Pole was impossible. In fact, I think most stationary topographical planers do agree that the North Pole is, it's at least accessible. You may not be able to. A lot of people, I say that loosely, right? People disagree on if you can, go all the way to the direct North Pole, but we can get close to it. We're saying the layout of the northern hemisphere is pretty much the same, right? So it obviously wouldn't be impossible to fly close to the North Pole, make a little circle, and come on back to where you were, right? Just like it wouldn't be impossible for me to go on down to the Walmart down the street, make a circle, and come on back. It doesn't mean that I circumnavigated circumnavigated the ball, and therefore I'm on a sphere, right? So this article proves otherwise, and I will address that it's not a newspaper article either. Again, it's just a list of these dates. So, of course, knowing me, I'm not going to let anything slide. Letting them know here, this isn't a specific event. This tab is the Coast Guard website outlining general dates. This is before I had seen it. Let's move on from that one. Finally found it. No outside references, just a sentence or two. And second, the outlining again the point that I was just making. You can definitely fly over near the North Pole or geographic north, and it doesn't prove that we're on a ball. This is where things get fun. The article's on my dad's wall, as if I'm discounting the article amongst all his Coast Guard stuff. The fact of the matter is, it is what it is. Deal with it. The Earth isn't flat. Call the Coast Guard in Kodiak, Alaska, and ask them about it. Follow them on Facebook. Send me a video on the wall. Everybody always asks for the ice wall. That's so funny. What an emotional response, right? This isn't clear and effective communication. It's not even addressing the specific point that I made, that I'm not saying you can't go over the North Pole. I'm not saying your dad didn't do what he did. I'm asking how this exactly proves that you're on a ball, right? And this is his response is, to double down that I'm saying it didn't happen, basically, and then to ask for proof of the ice wall, which we all agree exists, right? There's an ice shelf. It's just the whole layout of it, right? Is it a ring that goes around the whole Earth, or is it, just a continent at the bottom of a ball? All right, let's at least be honest about what's being said here. Gives me a screenshot attachment again. I'm not going to click into anything because it's going to kick me out, and I don't want to kick out. So he basically goes on to just, and I pointed out here, he goes on to put out a bunch of different points that doesn't even directly address the fact that I'm not saying that going over the North Pole is not a flat Earth issue. Try to be as clear as possible, but I'm really beginning to wonder. And at this point, by the end of this conversation, I really feel like he was wasting my time. Longitude goes around the circumference of the globe, north and south. Latitude goes around circumference, east to west. There is no way to have both if the Earth was flat. More begging the question, reification fallacy. Your imaginary lines that have been drawn over the surface of the very real Earth do not in any way prove that we are, again, a spinning, flying space ball. It's just all a begging the question model that unfortunately you have fallen for, Mitch. So I do this with love in hopes that you see that, again, you're not actually addressing the point. And this is the problem that flat earthers have when it comes to these conversations. That's why a lot of times we feel like they're pointless, right? I feel like if you're engaging in this conversation with me, that you would do so in good faith, and that with intent to actually produce a very valid and real argument and not just emotional ramblings. But of course, that's the end of that conversation. I hope I don't get in trouble for, just showing an email, but like I said, it should be fine. Just again, I wanted to make sure that no point addressed directly to me would go unresponded, right? With something that I said I would respond to. Of course, he sent me a few other lines of emails with some other so-called proofs, nothing of which directly dealing with the point that I'm making, which until you do, Mitch, I'm just not going to address you anymore. So it's nothing personal. It's just my motto for dealing with possible trolls, right? It's how I protect myself from wasting my time. So if you want to actually address the specific point about north circumnavigation, actually being possible on both models, and that it doesn't actually measure any rate of curvature over the Earth, then I think that, we can come to some common ground and maybe try to look for some, if that doesn't work, then we can look for some other proof. Or maybe you can start seeing what I'm talking about, and that the things that you believe are proof are actually just Hansel and Gretel breadcrumbs leading you to the oven. Let's go ahead and see what else here. Now we've given people a lot more time to go ahead and jump on in. So let's go ahead and shout you out, lovely people over on YouTube and Rockfin. We do appreciate you tuning on in. Kevin, what is up? My good friend over chatting on the Rockfin. That is where the cool kids like to roam. That is where the uncensorship happens, right? That's where we will be after too long. So you'll only be able to catch about an hour of this show on this side, and the rest will be over on the Rockfin. And you will want to stay tuned for that, because we're gonna open up the lines, and we are going to have the opportunity to also fire away some questions. We're gonna do some trivia warm up. That's right. And speaking of, I do have a very special announcement. So we'll go ahead and play this little thing here. Let me get it queued. I don't want to. Okay, gonna have to bear through this commercial just for a moment, and then I'm gonna get it for you guys. Actually, doing this the wrong way. All right. Oh, I'm still doing the shout out too. Awesome. This is what happens when you take an herbal medicine. All right, so let's go ahead and continue this, guys. We really do appreciate you tuning in. We got Cave In over on um is that you, Kevin, or am I mixing you guys up again? Probably not. That's probably Cave In. If not, my bad. Mojo Shop, what is up? Mad Mac. We also have um Three Fingers, Mad Mac. Awesome. All right, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, that probably is just Kevin. Who knows? Who knows? Getting really, really bad with the names. All right. Super cool. All right, let's go ahead and copy this and get this over here for you guys because this is going to be absolutely legendary. If you're not checking this out, you are missing out on something really special. But I'm giving you plenty of advanced notice, and I'm sure probably not the first time you guys have seen this. So let this just be a friendly reminder that we are doing something really, really cool very, very soon. Let's go ahead and whoops, forgot to unmute. Perfect. So that is right, folks. We are doing the Truther Trivia April 19th. It's going to be legendary, the championship round between yours truly and the OG, Jaron Campanella from Jaronism. It's going to be an absolute blast and couldn't be coming together for a better cause. You know, at this time, it's really important that we do come together as a community, and we've been absolutely crushing it out so far. We've raised, I believe, over $3,000 for the tinfoil hat family, as well as, man, I really 1 second, sorry, something just caught my attention here. That was pretty funny. But we are doing that for the tinfoil hat family, and of course, man, I'm doing so bad with the names tonight. Somebody remind me who the other family was. I've said it multiple times, and I just feel absolutely terrible. My goodness. Brain farting at the absolute worst possible time live on air. But hey, that's what happens when you're still relatively new to the game. So what are you gonna do? But needless to say, it is going towards. Oh, of course, it is also going towards Bob. That is right, man. I put some heavy psychological tricks to distance myself from some stuff, but that's all good, well and good. In any case, we are raising to help them with the final expenses, Cammy and Jaron, and so we do really appreciate that as well. To legends in the community that are in need of our help, so definitely come together, and all support is appreciated. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and we also have to shout this out as well in the rock fin. You go ahead and pull it up bigger so I can actually see it. Sky's the limit. It's going down to help people. Love it. Absolutely. And we appreciate the $10 donation. It's absolutely legendary. we're trying to pull all these resources. We're trying to produce an absolutely fantastic show. So in preparation, we are going to be doing some Q&A. We are going to be doing some truther trivia here at the second half. So going to be really fun. You guys should definitely stay tuned and get your chance to trip up Mr. Tribune. Should be a lot of fun. But with that being said, I know Bob and Cammy. I just now checked the YouTube chat. I do this thing. I did it when, and this again is going to play into communication, right? Because communication is not just, again, it's not just me speaking to you. It's going to be your inner communication, what things that you're aware of, things that you allow yourself to become aware of. I actually found myself over the last 3 years very painful for. I actually don't know anybody who had an easy last 3 years as far as close people being lost. So I actually found myself losing my grandfather and my grandmother all in the same, and my uncle all within the same 2 years. And I discovered that I have this thing where when something's really depressing to me and there's really nothing you can do about it, that I tend to just distance myself from it completely. And some people that means like doing active steps to put space between them and other things. To me, it's not that. For me, it's simply avoiding awareness of a situation at all costs. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I was close enough with Bob that happened here, but that was a very interesting brain fart that I was having from something that was so recent. So do apologize for that. Make sure everybody gets the recognition that they deserve. And of course, huge shout out to Melodome for having one of the best channels out here on the YouTube. If you're not catching his early morning light over on Sunday mornings, and then you are missing out on something really special. Going through the time, raising the vibes, and really trying to take the community to what I feel is definitely going to be the next level. So it's actually kind of what we've been doing here. For those who have been catching on, my Tribune shows have been following a very it's actually a very obvious and blatant theme to anybody who knows about Eastern philosophy, the chakras, energies, and things like that. We've basically been walking people up from the base chakra all the way up, right? All the way up. So that way we can actually become fully aware of everything that's going on in our reality. Brianna Lynn, I do the same thing with blocking difficult things out of my mind. I think it's actually a pretty natural human response to try to avoid painful things. So, but it's one of those things that, once you focus on, like anything else, you can become aware of it and you can really grow as a person. So never look at the thing that you feel as a weakness as just that. It's just a light that's shining, that's going to allow you to put focus in the right directions so that you can be, for lack of a better word, complete, right? There's always something that we feel we could be doing better. There's always more that we feel we could be thinking about, more effort that we could be throwing forward. And it all starts with awareness, right? Which all boils down actually to communication. So without this, you would not be able to do any of the other things without clear communication. The only thing you would still be is just rooted, right? There's no taking that away, but becoming aware of your connections, becoming aware of your energy, your aura, becoming aware of your heart chakra, all of that is, it's interdependent on your ability to communicate. So, again, that's why we take the time to have the True Earth debates that you can catch every Friday night, the Friday night flat smack, if you will. And we have a lot of fun with that. Some people, they want me to kick clowns faster, and I do hear the sentiment. I'm going to try to catch on if people are trolling faster or, bad points to redirect quicker. But I do feel like it's important that we actually let them speak. That way the argument can be fully articulated. And we can even attempt to articulate it as best as possible. That way we can actually have a real conversation about the issue being had instead of worrying about, what's a actual logical fallacy or not, right? It's like, okay, I don't want to worry about any logical fallacies, Let's formulate first principles. Let's formulate the base with no or the least amount of assumptions. And when you're off with just your gravity model by 96%, um this that's not really a model I can get behind. So there's got to be something more going on with that. But okay. We got a few articles that we want to cover, and I've kind of spent a good bit of time doing this stuff, so hopefully we can get through them. If not, no worries. We can always save some for next time, and then we will go ahead and dive right into the Rockfin side. So we should have a lot of fun here. Now, one thing that I do get a lot of compliments on is my thumbnails and the imagery that we're being used here. So what is up, Mark Basquette? One of the things that I like to do is I like to play with the AI models because I'm a musician, really. I'm not a digital artist per se. I mean, I know what looks cool, but do I have a steady hand? Absolutely not. So, and I wouldn't really know the first thing about real raw coding or raw digital design. But one thing that's kind of bridged the gap, tremendously is these artificial intelligences that you can pretty much, as long as you have a good imagination, good prompt craft, if you will, you can create just about anything, just about any image. So that's why we do need to be careful. There's going to be a lot of truthers stepping into truther traps. One of which was, fake Antarctica pictures going around. Got to be careful of things that you see and try to look for indicators of AI imagery. Which also it's really unfortunate for the Globers too, because now how are you going to say that your that your new images aren't artificially created? So, yeah, it's going to be tough with years to come. But this thumbnail right here, really cool. Just do a prompt neon. It's way longer than that, but I use a base prompt of like neon multicolored city, and it's really really dope, right? It's like I'd probably hang that on a tapestry behind me, and would be super chill. But yeah, we are. This whole way that we do this is in jeopardy because we have people getting threatened and scared by all the propaganda put forward by, in my opinion, obvious actors and or shills, if you will. I'm not talking about people in our community. I'm talking about bigwigs. Elon Musk. Talking about how dangerous artificial intelligence is, but then also simultaneously going and working in the background. And then we have, basically big sweeping moves. Not only kind of getting shadowed out in lieu of the TikTok ban, which is significant in itself, right? That whole bill definitely needs to be looked at because they're trying to shut down communication, and that's the last thing that we want. But not only that, they're also trying to shut down tools and the development of useful things. Now that they've been developed to the point that the elite can use them, they now want to shut it down for everybody else to use. So let me go ahead and get this pulled up. This was a Fortune magazine article. Let's see if it lets me read it. And let me, of course, post it in the chat for you all. Where are we at? Okay. Main webpage. Just 1 second. All right, maybe it'll... I love when it doesn't load the back there for it. Makes it like really, really hard to read. What are you going to do? But in any case, we got... that's not what I want to interact with. Come on. You know what I'm trying to do. Okay. So I apologize for how hard it is to read, but you're just going to kind of have to deal with it. Elon Musk and Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, among over 1,100 who signed an open letter calling for a 6-month ban on creating powerful AI. There's like all these So we're supposed to believe that it's not gonna let me interact with it at all. Awesome. Can't scroll. Okay, no worries. I'll just go to the actual article. All you really need is the headline, I guess. Just a quick adjusting. Then you can actually read the rest of the headline there. But okay. So yeah, you got again a mainstream article, mainstream magazine. You got some mainstream people from the other side of the aisle. Not the left. Obvious bad guy, obvious villain, Emperor Palpatine. That they put in front of us for us to take down. They're gonna go with the other side, the people that are kind of like Donald Trump. Who are like, oh yeah, we actually love the American people, and we're gonna fight to protect people's rights to do what they want because we're entrepreneurs and we believe in the American way and we want everybody to make as much money as us, right? I mean, if only it were so simple. But yeah, we have these people calling for an open ban to creating powerful AI, right? And what exactly do they mean by powerful AI? Let's see if we can get some insight from this article. Gives a nice mugshot of Elon Musk. I'm saving you guys from that, thank God. All right, let's go ahead and read in. For a 6-month moratorium on the development of advanced AI systems. Why not the whole thing, right? Probably because this is just something to get us talking, right? Another effective means of dissuading communication is to do something known as form sliding. And that's where you create a whole bunch of news. That way, people can't really decide what is important or what is not. But hey, Elon Musk is bound to get me some views, so we're gonna put it in the tags, right? Let's go ahead and cover him. In addition, the Tesla CEO and Apple co-founder, the more than 1,100 signatories, just tell us the exact amount, right? You don't have to do this more than, it's communicating, marketing 101 strategies. You start to see through this stuff when you take like even a basic sales course. So anybody out there who wants to learn more and be more efficient at seeing through the propaganda in every scenario. And I do even mean in this community because there is quite a bit of it. Um, I recommend doing like learning some basic sales. Don't take a course. Don't pay money for it. Everything that you would pay for in a course, you can actually get for free by looking up basic sales videos. So that stuff is actually pretty easy to learn, and then you'll start to learn like the language of it. But okay, so what else do we have here? The company that helped create the popular Stable Diffusion text to image generation model, the CEO of Conjecture, another AI lab, and even Sharp, the co founder of Pinterest. So they're just naming off some big names here. Also signed deep learning pioneer and turning award winning computer scientist Joshua Bengio. Oh wow. Guys, this is probably a good thing. We need to stop this powerful tools from being created and then becoming open source. That's the last thing we want, right? Where this ultimately leads, just to kind of give people the sneak peek, right, is that with all of this hubbub about how dangerous this stuff can be, they're going to put very tight restrictions on it and who can access it, which effectively just means that they're going to make it impossible for it to go open source. So obviously, you can't stop the progression of technology, but you can definitely put a stranglehold on it, and that's what they are trying to do here. So definitely trying to uh, hoard all the good technology for themselves. Developers stand for OpenAI. The letter does not say exactly how the power of the model should be defined. That's a big indicator there. I can't read anymore because the subscription wants me to pay $1 a month, and I'm not going to give them any money. But um, yeah, it says right here AI developed by a San Francisco company. Sorry, that's not the right thing here. The letter does not exactly say how the power of a model should be defined, but in recent AI advances, capability has tended to be correlated to an AI's model size and the number of specialized computer chips needed to train it. So they haven't even defined it on what's going to be, on what's going to be the limited, right? So they can pretty much just limit anything. They can limit the stable diffusion that I use to make my images. Um, and that can be a huge damper because people are actually making a lot of passive income on this kind of stuff once they realize how much money they can make on normies just buying normal random stuff. You can kind of just create a repeating pattern and then sit back and let it sell, without doing anything. But it's something that I thought about getting into. I probably will do that. Just make a cool repeating pattern and then just post it up and see how many people just buy the digital download without me doing anything. And I don't really see anything necessarily immoral about that. But I've also thought that there were better ways to make money. But that's what people are doing. Pretty interesting. And just like anything good, it does get demonized. Network marketing, multi level marketing, although there are scam companies out there, the business model incentivizes excellent behavior overall if you have, the right pay structure. So just means that everybody can market and everybody can get paid for their efforts instead of being locked into a 9 to 5 position by the person above them. And that got demonized as pyramid schemes, even though some of their companies make up top Fortune 500 just from sheer income that they're able to generate. But that is the coming limitation on AI. So will they pass it this time? Who knows? I don't know if they're going to pass it this time or not, but they're definitely planting the seeds. Everything kind of tends to follow a progression. So if they don't get it passed this time, then they'll push forward a little bit more, and then maybe in a year they'll start to get it passed, and then they'll start limiting it for everybody. At the same time, giving us the front of having to fight for our online sovereignty. Obviously, the push for the real Internet Act, or however you want to call it, where they make everybody have a license or an ID or whatever, a login specifically to even use the internet. I mean, could you imagine anything more Orwellian than that? Absolutely ridiculous. So, how much time do we got here? Jesus. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the next fun one. This got me, this is a lighter note. This got me laughing pretty good, and I think that you guys will enjoy it. Definitely not brand new, but still pretty new news for us. So let's go ahead and get this going here. Nice. It's actually going to show the article. Thank you. Let's do some minor adjusting. Oh, yeah, that looks excellent. That looks good. Okay. Perfect. All right. So, this thing, the James Webb, the mammoth monster gold plated super telescope peering into the deepest regions of space back in time to the beginning of the universe. It's not going to let me interact with this one either. What the heck is going on with this thing? Webb has returned an image of Uranus. Let's go ahead and, I'm not going to do it this way. This sucks. Let's go display capture. We're just going to do it this way. And it is what it is, right? So, boom. Boom. Let's get it up and going. Perfect. James Webb Space Telescope, the Webb, has returned the image of the ringed Uranus in a way that I certainly have never seen before. Now, I tell you, with an image of this quality, of this majesty, that I reckon it absolutely impossible that this could be faked. There's no evidence that this could be faked. And you can tell because of the quality of color. And what's really special about this is that you can actually see like the sun's reflection off of these specific clouds over here. Just absolutely gorgeous, this picture. Whoa. You know what I really like about this is the blue color, though, right? That's like they're also trying to do some effective communication. Uranus. This is the unitated zoom of Uranus. Uranus. The thing that they're always pranking us all the time with. It's ejecting gas and smells like farts. All right, let's read this here. James Webb Telescope continuing its portfolio of the outer solar system, returning this ringed image of Uranus. The tipped over ice giant is currently facing its northern pole, straight towards the sun. image previously by Voyager. Wow, what a coinkydink that their North Pole is the sun, man. That would be crazy if ours was, right? We'd just be constantly having the sun right above us, right above the North Pole, and then the other side of the planet absolutely frozen. Um, Jesus Christ. It's really hard to even read it all because it's such BS. I really just like it for the picture. But look at this. There's absolutely no way you could fake this, guys. There's no way. This is totally real. And these blurry things back here, these are galaxies. So, the interesting thing that you have to note is that although we're within, and you have to note that this is really important, we're within the solar system, okay? Which is within our galaxy, right? So there should be a whole bunch of like stars in this layer of Milky Way galaxy. And yet, in this particular image, with the power of the James Webb Telescope, we are able to peer right past Uranus, through the rest of the solar system, through the rest of the galaxy. Barely any stars, and we can actually see the galaxies on the outside. Isn't that incredible? That is what your $63 million a day gets you, right? And what conclusions are we reaching with these images, right? Anything helpful to humanity? Anything that will solve world hunger or our climate crises or anything, all that BS that they talk about? The answer, of course, is no. Absolutely not. This is the latest to join the Webb's planetary pantheon, which also includes Mars, Jupiter, and Neptune. Oh, wow. I didn't even know they got a picture of Neptune, too. There's no way you can fake this, guys. This is 100% real. That's Uranus. No, that was the last one. This is Neptune. Didn't know Neptune also had rings. Let's go back. What other one? Got a picture of Mars here. Unfakeable. This is absolutely unfakeable. Hey, I guess the latitude and longitude lines aren't imaginary either, because here they are. You can see them right here on Mars. Just kidding. All right. That is enough of that. That is, again, good for a great laugh. I really would like to turn some of those funds back towards, useful things like developing technology to grow food better and, um, maybe house people more comfortably. I don't know, anything, anything other than take a pretty picture that at best would be used in some NASA fanboys, as some print on demand tapestry. Really funny. Okay, let's get the heck out of here. All right, pull that off. What do we have next here? We're almost into the next hour, so might go ahead and get ready to change gears. That way we're not up all freaking night. What do you guys think of that? We do have a couple more articles to cover. There's just one more. We'll do one more, and then we'll go ahead and switch it over. And this last one's pretty great, if I do say so myself. Now, a lot of you remember the... Where the heck is it? Don't tell me. Where, oh, where? Sorry, folks. Just give me one whole second. Found it. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and copy you. This is a nice little YouTube video. Hopefully I don't get copyright, but a lot of you remember the line the giant, Great Wall city that they were going to build over in Saudi Arabia. I think it was like 500 miles, not taking into account curvature, of course, because why would they? And they were going to build this like super city that really felt pretty ominous. If they finish this, then you're going to have this huge mirror wall that's really hard to traverse past, and also you're going to force people to live in it. So, or at least make it the only viable option to live in. So, really funny there. Well, this is something that makes that project look like a child's Lego build. Maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but in any case, let me go ahead and get this in for you because this thing really blew my mind. I was like, wow, they're going to build this thing. And they just might, right? But they might also just embezzle a whole bunch of money on the idea of it. So let's go ahead and get this pulled up.
What if you could do SEO smarter?
Please don't give us that stupid ad.
Seeing the new horizon for Riyadh, a new icon, the Mukaab, the world's first immersive experiential destination.
Go ahead and pause this for a second. So this thing is freaking ridiculously massive, right? So they're talking about doing like an inner city, like an inner building, where they have all these different aspects: dining, residential, retail, entertainment, hospitality, a whole entire city basically inside this giant square that will probably never see the sun once you're inside. Definitely gonna get copyright for this.
Another world.
Looks pretty badass though.
Step inside and it's unlike anything you've ever seen. At a scale.
Oh wait, hold on. You guys, you can hear it, right? And we're not echoing, right? We are echoing. Whoops. All right, let me get that fixed. So let's try this here. Oh, now you guys can't hear it at all. Okay, I'm going to have to mute myself then. And that just is what it is, right?
Big enough to hold 20 Empire State Buildings.
I muted myself and then they went and said something ridiculous like that. 20 Empire State Buildings. One whole second. Yeah. Okay, so long story short, they're building this thing. It's a giant golden box, and it sounded on purpose. Nice. Yeah, 20 whole skyscrapers in size is what they're looking to be able to fit inside of this thing. So, mammoth proportions we're dealing with for sure.
Where you and those around you enter a new reality, transporting you to Mars one day and magical worlds the next. Where your retail experience is completely reimagined.
Man, that's getting a little tricky. So, I don't know if you guys caught that, but they actually said something really significant in there. And I think that we really need to pay closer attention to this. It seems like it's just like this bullshit thing, maybe just a distraction. But, I mean, how much in the news have you heard about this being presented? It's not really. This ad, of course, seems sensational. And that's because they, of course, need to sell the idea. But they said that taking you to places like Mars and beyond, they're talking about creating a holographic wall inside this giant square, this Mukaab, right? And then having it be able to basically make it look like you're anywhere. That is insane. Now, I know it seems like a huge feat, right? But if they're able to pull something like this off, then guess what? There is absolutely no reason why they couldn't build one in secret, right? And I know I'm going to step off into La La Land, into Wooville conspiracy world for just a moment and speculate that if it's possible for them to make one of these and it's be possible to make one in secret. And if they make one in secret, they can easily take people for their Mars mission, to recolonize. Simply put them in one of these little box things. And like, well, how would they get in, right? And it's like, well, just don't put windows on the craft, and there you go. Trying to remember the story that it was. There actually was a short story that I read relatively recently that actually talked about something like that. Now, granted, it has all the mainstream propaganda points involved, but what was interesting was how the story played out. Basically, it was about a crew of people that were selected to go on this mission out into space to colonize a new world. And they go out into, quote, space. And one of the guys, they're out there for so long that one of the guys starts going crazy, and he starts analyzing the condensation levels and all this stuff inside the ship. And he realizes that, oh my goodness, this is fake. We're not really in space. And he goes out the door, gets sucked out, and has never seen it from again. Right. At the end of the show, it's actually, or at the end of the book, it reads like a show in my mind. What ends up happening is that there was like aliens, right, watching this, and this was just a test. They weren't really in space, and the guy was right. He was smart enough to figure it out, right? So maybe us true earthers are onto something, or maybe they just want you to believe that. Who knows? But this thing is absolutely wild. The Macabre, um, attempting to just create an entire world. I'm telling you, you as an individual, unless you were super inquisitive, nobody who's a sheep is going into one of these, if they didn't know it. Sneak in one, however they get them in there, right? I haven't thought that far ahead. But once you're in, right, if you're a sheeple, how are you going to think your way out of this? It's like they're going to give you everything you need. They're going to say that you're going wherever. Um, they could probably just convince you that you're going wherever, right? By simply having you go into this like hallway and be like, all right, well, now we're going to get into this ship here, and you get into this little ship, and it pretends to go somewhere, and then you go into the next area, and it's just a new scene, right, with some new structures and stuff. So anyway, there's all kinds of possibilities with this, and then nonetheless, in this huge city block that they're doing, guess how much curvature they take into account for all this architecture? Zero. All right, let's go ahead and finish this little thing.
And hospitality, leisure, and entertainment reach new levels, all in breathtaking, ever-changing environments.
Oh yeah, sell it.
This is the new face of Riyadh. Experience a new horizon.
Well, there you have it, guys. You can go to newmaraba.com to learn more about this insanely massive project that they are building. At least they were nice enough to communicate it. And it has like all the great occultic symbolism, right? Like we got the cube. It had like the black woven into the gold. Uh, it's just, man, really, really cool, really interesting what they're throwing out here. So with that, let's go ahead and start. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and start the second half of the show. YouTube, I haven't plugged near enough, and that's because I just trust that you guys will support when you can, and that is enough for me, right? Everybody is going through some hard times, and so I definitely want to make sure that the support is mostly going towards, at this time, towards the families of Bob Nodell and to the Tinfoil Hat family, because they do definitely need it. That's why we're doing this trivia thing. So definitely stay tuned. We're going to do some practice trivia. Andrew B says he's going to join up for the trivia warm-up. That is going to be awesome. Unheard questions. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Hundreds of questions. Yeah, we'll never get through them all. Should be a lot of fun. I do need to. Never mind. I'll do that on my own time. Let me go ahead and do a play out song for you lovely folks at YouTube. We do appreciate you tuning in. And now would be an excellent time to go ahead and head on over to the Rockfin. And the reason why you're going to want to do that, one second. The reason why you're going to want to do that is because we cut it here, we get uncensored, and then we go ahead and start having the real conversations. So, YouTube, we do appreciate you platforming us, but we are going to have to take our business elsewhere for the rest of this conversation. So let me go ahead and get what we want here loaded up. This music is going to be brought to you by Conspiracy Music Guru. We've been really enjoying the Drew Solfeggio um, album. So let us go ahead and end the YouTube portion here with "Lump in My Throat." YouTube, please do not copyright strike me with this because oh wait, I'm already getting one for the one before. Who the hell cares then? Do what you will. I have permission though to use this, so let's go ahead and get it. Be sure to show the Conspiracy Music Guru some support as well by listening to his wonderful music that is changing the world. So I appreciate y'all, and I will see you on the other side in just a moment. And if I don't, thanks for watching. Until next time, peace.